In this video, I'm going to talk about what's new in Spring Boot version 4, which was released a few months back. So I remember Spring Boot version 3 was released back in 2022, and that time it was very exciting because lots of new feature was introduced with it. And same goes for Spring Boot version 4 because it has some new exciting refactoring and features. So let's directly jump into it. Here are the highlights of the main thing that comes with Spring Boot version 4. I'll go through each of them one by one in details so you have a better idea of what is it. So the first one is the baseline and platform upgrades. So Spring Boot 4 requires you to minimum Java 17, but it is recommended to use at least 21, and using 25 is best because even though Java 17 is supported, I have already seen some people are complaining that some of the dependency actually explicitly requires Java 21 or more. Probably Spring already working on that. Then it comes the Jakarta EE, the servlet version, Kotlin 2.2 is required at least, and Gradle version 8.14 is still serialized. Jackson 3 is the default now, but Jackson 2 is also supported, but it is deprecated. One big thing is under 2 support is dropped because of the mismatch of servlet version. It did not support servlet 6.1 yet. And one side note here, if you want to upgrade to Spring version 4.x, then Spring officially recommend to go to Spring Boot 3.5 first, and I have some dependency for upgradation. When you are in 3.5, you can remove all the deprecated warning, then you can easily move to version 4. Okay, the second one is modularization. This change is not visible to developers because this is internal restructure. They organize their dependency. Like earlier the auto-configure jar was big, now it have few different jars. You will not see this change, it is behind the scene refactoring actually, but it improved the organization and startup time, and also better GraalVM native support. So then comes API versioning. I remember I used to version the APIs with a hard-coded v1, v2 in the path. But now, since version 4, you will just add a parameter like version 1 or version 2 in the gate mapping. And you can also configure it if you want to add the version in the header or in the query param as well. You just have to configure it once in the application. And then comes the declarative HTTP service client. This is a big one because we all probably implemented the REST template with some boilerplate code used everywhere. Now, from Spring Boot version 4, this one is completely implemented by Spring. Remember the transactional annotation? Behind the scene, it implement a proxy like thing. For this case, you just annotate the interface with HTTP exchange, and then you just put some method signature in the interface, and those things will be automatically implemented in the runtime. You will just have to auto-add the service, the interface. For example, here the echo service, you see this one is annotated with HTTP exchange, and the post exchange, the method echo will be implemented dynamically. You just have to inject the echo service. Okay. And it can also work with retry and concurrency limit. So those things are natively supported in Spring version 4. The resiliency annotation. Earlier we had to add some Spring Cloud dependency, but now instead of using Feign or something else, we can just simply annotate with retryable, and we can pass the max attempt, delay, and multiplier. So these things will play how many time it will retry, and what will be the interval between them, and the concurrency limit, how many concurrent requests will be there. So this is a big thing for version 4. Actually, this is not from Spring Boot version 4. This is from the Spring Framework 7, which is used for Spring Boot version 4. And one thing here, it is important that you will have to enable resilient method annotation to any of the configuration class. And the last big thing is observability and null-safety. So Spring Boot upgraded to Micrometer 2, and also Spring Boot starter OpenTelemetry auto-configured the OTel SDK for metrics and traces. So this is another new refactoring. And then the null-safety with JSpecify. So this one might be a bit confusing because from Hibernate Validator, we can use the not null annotation for validation. This one is different. This one is especially for IDE for compile time correction. Okay, those are the major changes in Spring Boot version 4. So here are some new things that was also introduced: the REST client, multiple task declarative bean, James client, and Redis static and master replica with lattice. And here we can see some of the deprecation, like JUnit 4 support is entirely removed. It is only Jupyter now. So that's it. If we go to Spring Initializr, here we can see the latest version available is 4.1.0. There is no version 3 available because last month, July was the last month for Spring Boot 3's official support ending. So any Spring version you select from now, for a new project, you will have to select at least Spring version 4. That's why these new updates are good to know for every Java developers. And here, as you can see, even though it supports JDK 17, the default selected one is JDK 21. So think twice or do some research if you have to make a new project in Java 17 for the new Spring Boot project, because it may come with some dependency issues. So I hope you learned something out of this video. If so, please hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. That would mean a lot for me and motivate me to make more helpful content like this. And thanks once again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.